Good morning, church. My name is Jesse, and boy, we've had quite a week. I'm supposed to prepare for this message, and it just felt like it was very difficult because I was carrying a lot of baggage around, as you can see. Very cool vintage baggage. So my name is Jesse, like I said, and I go to church here. Josh asked me to come speak. And we're on Job again, as same as last week, but we're doing a different chapter. It was a really long book. Now, my week was difficult because like I said, a lot of baggage. But Saturday, there was this incident in Virginia, and I'm like, boy, that's disheartening. But what really really messed up my week was just people trying to justify it or defend it, even if it's like halfway. I'm like, dude, you can't. And I'm like carrying that around with me all week, everywhere I go. Like this is owning my week at this point. I'm like paying out time and energy, and I have to prepare a sermon. And I'm like, wait a minute, I really need to deal with this. I need to let go for a minute and recalibrate. As you see this baggage here. So it's been a week. It's been a trying and emotional. Let's see. Now I want to talk to you guys about getting through it. When I say getting through it, I'm talking about some struggles you may have, some trials, some difficulties. Everyone goes through it. People get hurts, pains, sorrows. Things happen. Today we're talking about getting through it. We talked about it as well last week, so I want to give you guys a quick recap on what we did last week. Job is like this really long, huge book. And it's like 4,000 years old or something like that. And Job, he's from a town on the Euphrates somewhere. You're like, where's that? The location isn't entirely important. However, the things that happened in this book are pretty monumental in my opinion. He's a guy who worshiped God. He loved God, and he was very faithful. And so there was this discussion between the devil and God about how faithful Job can be. So let me give you a few recap points. Job is insanely rich, very wealthy person. Worships God faithfully. Okay, in this culture, they would sacrifice a bull. He would do that constantly, always being faithful to God in his worship. But he loses everything. All of his wealth and his servants gone in a day. And his kids all die. That also is very traumatic, as you can imagine. He gets a skin disease. That's okay, man, you already took everything. Now I'm filthy with this skin disease and I have to live outside the city. And then, as I mentioned last week, he has these frenemies. These friends who come and they sit with him, but then they accuse him of being the reason why all these bad things happen. So as you can imagine, that would be very painful, very difficult. Now it's interesting because they, for several chapters, 30 chapters, they're accusing him of being the reason why he's in pain. They're accusing him, you're the reason why your kids are dead, why you've lost all this stuff. Don't blame anybody else. It's your own fault. Now, what's interesting is that they are accusing him. And that there's all these things that happened to Job before this, 20 years, 30 chapters of them accusing him. All those things sucked before. But now accusing him, what I find very interesting is, in this book of Job, the word they use for devil isn't devil, Satan, Lucifer, anything like that. They actually use this word that means accuser. So that the accuser comes in and talks to God, and he goes after Job. Okay, so now, at this point, you're seeing the devil work in his best field at this point. He's like, this is my expertise. I'm going to manipulate this up to accuse Job, and it is going to be so much torture. So keep that in mind. These are frenemies of his. It's friends who kind of suck, and they're terrible friends. Let me just read the scripture to you real quick to refresh your memory. Job chapter 19, 1 through 6. How long will you torment me and crush me with words? This is Job replying to his friends. How long will you torment me and crush me with words? 10 times now you have reproached me. Shamelessly you attack me. If it is true that I have gone astray, my error remains my concern alone. If indeed you would exalt yourselves above me and use my humiliation against me, then know that God has wronged me and drawn his net around me. So, watch what you say to people who are suffering. They're suffering. Check your arrogance. Don't say anything. For 7 days they said nothing. And then that last day they go and like perjure themselves with nonsense by accusing Job of all this stuff. Watch what you say to people who are suffering. Probably saying nothing is actually the wisest thing you can do at that point. Next point, correction is for the right person in the right timing. It's probably not you. Corrections for the right person in the right timing. And the last thing here is, don't make yourself into another part of Job's suffering. Okay? People do that. It's like, I was suffering before. You're making it worse. Don't be that person. Now, my overall point that I want to say is this is a strategy for getting through it. Okay, when we are struggling, when we're suffering, we don't need to make it harder for each other. Okay, we want to be a church where if someone is suffering, we can be a friend to them. We can be a resource to them to help them get through it. This is something that God has blessed you with. Friends, family. Now, if you are coming against someone who is suffering, we're not going to get through it. We're making it so much harder. The other thing is that if someone here is suffering, I hope that they feel that they can come to their brothers and sisters here to overcome their problems or to deal with it. You can be a friend or you can find a friend here. That's a strategy for getting through it. Now I want to take you several chapters up. We're going to get into Job chapter 42. It's a very long book. Okay, a lot of monologues and poetry. Can be very redundant. Now, Job's friends are accusing him. Boom, boom, boom. And he replies, like, you guys suck. This is not cool. And Job even says, I don't think God even sees me. I wish that I wasn't alive. If I met God right now, my mouth would be full of arguments. Okay? Because he's so frustrated with his situation. He thinks that God just is checked out or making a mistake, doing something wrong. And so then God replies. Now, of all the times I've gotten mad, I cannot say that a storm appeared and God spoke to me through the storm. That has not yet happened to me, but we'll see. We'll see. It could. And so a storm appears, and God speaks to Job and his friends. And for those who are from the 90s, they get moded. Okay, they get moded big time. They have questions. Job's friends are trying to say how God is. Really, God's like this, so you're wrong. And Job is like, I don't think God knows what he's doing at all. And so God comes up and he says, excuse me, I'm God. Hi. Where were you when I measured the stars? Where were you when I set the ocean in its place? Where were you when I sparked the life of this universe? Have you done anything with your life, even remotely close to that? And they're like, no. So God tells for several chapters, very eloquently, how big he is and how small they are. For several chapters, which we're not going to get into. Now we're going to skip ahead to chapter 42. Job 42, we're going to look at verses 1 through 6. That's a short nugget there. I'll give you a chance to do the calculations of your handheld computers to look up the verse. Job 42, verses 1 through 6. So God just talked to him for quite a while. Here we pick up in verse 1. Then Job replied to the Lord, I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. You asked, who is this that obscures my plans without knowledge? Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. You said, listen now, and I will speak. I will question you, and you shall answer me. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. So you want to talk about baggage. Okay, Job, at this point in his life, he had a lot of baggage. Okay, it wasn't nice vintage luggage like this. He actually lost everything. He had lost his servants, all of his wealth that he accumulated over the years of hard work. He lost respect in his community and his friends. His kids are dead. If he had any reason to be upset, okay, he had it all. Compared to my reasons for being upset, I'm like, okay, Job, you win. He had baggage coming into this conversation with God. We all have that at times. These beliefs, this philosophy of I have to carry this around. You don't know, I have to carry this around. Okay, Job's in that situation. You guys don't know what it's like, okay? I'm really going through stuff. And then God shows up, and suddenly this baggage is, it's not as big. Okay. And Job sees clarity. So let me take it in verse 2. I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. What I find very interesting about this passage, it's not you can do all things. It says, I know that. The subject of this scripture here, this sentence, is I. The verb is know. And the condition is that, etc. Now this means a challenge for me. Okay, it's not a, oh, God is very strong, God is very powerful. No. It's a, I know that. I have to acknowledge. Okay. I have to challenge myself to acknowledge constantly that God is bigger. He's bigger than my baggage. He's bigger than my problems. He's bigger than my blessings. He is bigger. I have to acknowledge it. I have to force myself to acknowledge it. In response to God, the first thing he says is, I know that you can do all things. I have to know it. I have to embed it in myself. I have to know that God is bigger. I hold up my baggage and I can compare it to God. Okay, you know what? Yeah, you are bigger than this. Wow, okay. Bigger than that. I have to acknowledge that God is bigger. It is an exercise that you have to do. Come on, if you're ever going to get through it, you have to do this step. Acknowledge that God is bigger. Bigger, period. End my sentence, because you can just add whatever you want after that. Let me get to the next passage here. You asked, who is this that obscures my plans without knowledge? Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. Job is very wise. He was top of the class. Okay, top tier school, graduated top of the class, running his own business. Things are going great. He's making tons of money. Everyone respects him. They come to him for advice. People seek him out. He's a smart guy. He has to acknowledge it. He has to realize that he doesn't know everything. At this point, we have to admit that you know so little. As smart as you are, Job's smart. As smart as he was, he has to admit he does not know what he thinks he knows. God has this huge plan, whatever. It's just, I'll never understand it. I'm not even going to try. But Job's like, God, I think you're doing this plan wrong. You know what? Surely I spoke of things I did not understand. It is difficult, I think, for us to admit that we know so little. It's very difficult to admit that, especially in the Bay Area. Okay, that's just the culture thing. We have so many educated people who have to be like kind of cutthroat at times. keep their image up. Even when I was in high school, I was, I'd be like, you really? I was very arrogant. Yeah, I was. And there's times where I would, when you do a group project in high school, I'll be like, man, these guys are smart. I'm going to let them do all the work, and I'm going to cruise and get an A on this group project. I would sometimes do that. Sorry. So I was working hard, had a job, I was in sports, and I showed up to class, history class one time, and I hadn't done the work. I didn't do the reading. I had no idea what's going on. This is a history class we're studying the Great Depression. Okay, so I walk into this like, I don't know what caused it. I don't know what it means. I don't know what the stock market is. I don't know anything that happened, but I just know the name of this era. And but I'm exhausted. I showed up to class and I was wiped out tired. Okay. Really tired from either work or sports or church, something noble, I'm sure it was. So I didn't do the work. I didn't have time to do the work or sleep. So I get there at first period, and I get in a really good group, and they're answering all these questions. They're doing okay. They're doing all right. We're not last, but we're near the top in this competition of trivia game. And so I put my head down, and I start to zone out, almost fall asleep. And I hear a question, and I think I know the answer to this. I don't know the answer, but I can assume based on what I know. The question was, during the Great Depression, who had the majority of the jobs, women or men? And being a history guy, I know that men kind of run the show in history. They're all the kings, presidents, philosophers. It's all about men. So I was like, you know what? Guys, this is such an easy question. Come on. It's men. But I didn't just say, teacher, I humbly say the wrong answer. No, I laid it on real thick, like a total idiot. Like I said, such an easy question. Please, teacher. I totally made a scene, and then I said, men. And he's like, incorrect. Why would you put on a show why did you wake up? Say the wrong, go back to sleep. You were right when you were asleep on the desk. I was so embarrassed. Why did I do that? Why did I lay it on real thick? I was asleep. I woke up, embarrassed myself in front of my team. They were like, why did you do that? You could have just been quiet and we would have got it right. I'm like, I'm going to go back to sleep. I don't know what to do. I had to, but you know what though? That little humiliation, it humbled me for half a day, but it did humble me in that moment. I was like, phew, don't talk about things you don't know. Oh my gosh. It is difficult to admit that you know so little. It is difficult. Okay, now I'm an adult. I'm not in high school anymore. 35 years old, guys. You're like, really, him? Yeah, 35. Not dead yet. Now, here's the thing, though. I've been in ministry, preaching different youth ministries for 15 years now. 16 years now. It's a long time. It's a lot of experience. And in my years of working in ministry and other kinds of jobs, I get bosses who tell me, Jesse, I've had 30 plus years experience. Jesse, I've had 25 years experience in this. I think I know what I'm talking about. I've heard that line so many times. Jesse, I've had 50 years experience in this field. And you still struggle. No, but here's the thing. Bragging to someone about what you know, okay, being so adamant that you are sure, look, you don't know what I've been through. I know this topic. I know how these people are. I know how this goes. You know so little. In those 30 years experience, in those 20 years experience, or in my 16 years of experience, I have been wrong so many times. But can I admit that? Can I admit that I don't know it all? I am continually getting surprised by what I don't know. I didn't know that would happen. Why are you mad at me? You know what I mean? I have to admit that. I have to admit that I know so little still. For every one thing I know, there's billions of things I will never ever know. And God is laughing at me every time I arrogantly put on a scene that I know the answer, and then they find out that I don't know the answer. I'm like, when did I wake up? That's the thing. We have to admit that you know. So in order to get through it, okay, you have to let go of that. But I do know. You don't know what I know, Jesse. I don't care. Scripture knows more than you. God knows more than you. If you're ever going to get through whatever you're going through, you really have to admit that you don't know, or that you know so little. Let's get back into the scripture here. You said, listen now, and I will speak. Let me put on my goggles. So Job, you said, listen now, and I will speak. I will question you, and you shall answer me. That can be very overwhelming for God to talk to you through a storm and tell you that He's going to question you now. I wasn't ready for this test, God. Can you give me a study guide? I really can't answer your questions right now because you're in a storm and you're God. That's a lot. That's a lot, man. Can you just give me a minute to compose myself? I would be so overwhelmed. I think I would faint. I'd probably faint. Because it's so overwhelming to picture you've been worshiping God your whole life faithfully, and then you're going through stuff, and for the one time you talk a little mess about God, He shows up in a storm and is talking to you very clearly for hours about things you didn't even know existed. And you're like, oh, okay. How would you respond? How would you respond? You finally meet God. You're in the middle. Think back to when you've been in the middle of some stuff. Maybe you got in a car accident. Somebody died. You suffered a loss. And then God shows up and says, you're questioning me? Hold on. I'm going to ask you questions now. I think it would be a little overwhelming. Now, Job's response, I think is spot on. I think I resonate with his response, being so overwhelmed. Job says, my ears have heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore, I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. A few things here. He's so overwhelmed. So overwhelmed. Job's a good guy. Yet, in light of God's presence, he is filthy. He's small, and he's wrong. And he has to despise himself. It's so glorious to see God. Now, I want to tell you something, though. God's not a bully at this point. He's not trying to hey, I heard you talking mess, and then just squish him. Okay, any time in Scripture when God presents himself to somebody, it's usually somebody very great, like a prophet, Moses, Elijah. At this point, Job. He says, my ears have heard of you. Who can relate to that? Who has heard God? But now my eyes have seen you. That's glory. That's a moment of glory. On earth, to see God, my flesh eyes would be overwhelmed. Therefore I despise myself. And Job's a good guy. Why is he despising himself? Because God is so great. And repent in dust and ashes. And this is the point I want to be perfectly clear on, because this is something that we must do continuously. Always reconcile back to God. Always reconcile back to God. This is his greatest desire. Every day you go and have your life, but come back to Him every day, every hour if you can. Okay, at this point, Job is I feel so far from God. And this is, when I say getting through it, this is it. This is how we get through it. It's by going back to God every day. It can be painful. It can be difficult. I don't want to go back to God. He messed up. Well, go to Him and see if we can fix it. Okay? This is how we get through it. This is the devil. I think it was the accuser was I'm going to get Job. He didn't think that God would show up and the devil would be reconciled. And Job would be reconciled back to God. That is the number one thing that Job, that anybody can do, is to reconcile yourselves back to God. I've known too many believers, when they've gone through stuff, they say, Jesse, you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what it was like. They wronged me, the church did this. the minister did that, my ex-wife did this, my kids left, or the drugs, or the bank, or something. You don't know what it's like. Well, then you can't hide yourself from God forever. You have to reconcile back to Him, regardless of what the problems were. That is how we get through it. I'm going to get back to this baggage. Okay, this week, like I said, was very difficult, and it is very hard to carry baggage around and navigate your life. Okay, some people do it. Some people do it really well. Yeah, he's so strong. You see, Jesse's so strong. Well, maybe not that, but I'm sure you've seen people who are very strong, and they can manage all this baggage and still make it to church or still make it to their work and do well. Okay, I have baggage. I mean, I'm watching this news this week, and now all of a sudden the white supremacists are on the headlines. Like, these guys go away. Like, make friends. Go get some tacos. You might start liking Mexicans, okay? I'm like, I think food is, I love these people now. I love your food. I'm never going to kick you out. I think that. Now, I watched this video on a KKK member who, like Josh was saying, he's saying like, oh, the Bible says this, and he's justifying why he's a Christian, and he's wrong. And I'm like, dude, this guy that I'm watching is like clenched onto this belief. He's like, I will never let go. I will never let go of this belief, even though it's incorrect or painful. I mean, okay, I'm brown, okay, I'm Latino, and I've been told to go back. I've been told how Mexicans are. You know how they are. You know how they are. They do this, they do that. Okay, chill out, dude. Now, I have to let go of stuff. I have to let go of my baggage. So I'll say, okay, you know what? There's petty stuff I can let go of. There's baggage I'm carrying around that's going to keep me from God. Every day. I got to let go of it. Every day. Petty stuff. Comments. Okay, a foul in soccer. I got to let it. I'm like, oh, I hate that guy. I got to let it go. Every day, something petty happens. Take a deep breath. I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to let this get between me and God. Okay? I got to let it go. Every day, I got to go through my baggage. Someone asked me, why do you have luggage? Are we going somewhere? You cannot take this with you. God says, I will accept you, but not your baggage. Don't make it bigger than me. That's not your God. It's small. And you don't know what you think you know. You're going to have to let go of this baggage. It's there. Petty stuff. I can let it go. It takes work. Sometimes, okay, I did get slide tackle from behind in soccer last year, and it damaged my knee for a few weeks. So for every day that I was hurt, it was probably a week of anger, but eventually it went away, and my anger subsided, and I don't hate that person anymore that did that. I can't let go of things like that. Okay, I can't. I can do it. Some patience, some truth, I can let it go. Some stuff I struggle to let go of because I know that the hurt was too great. Emotional, psychological, whatever that baggage is, I can't, sometimes it's like I'm so white-knuckled on this bad idea that you'll never get it off my fingers. I cannot. I cannot. And God's like, you know that I'm bigger than that. And I'm like, but I can't. Imagine these bags they're weighing me down. They're binding me to this earth while God is trying to bring me to glory. Imagine that. So it's crucial that I get rid of it. It's crucial that I find a way to get rid of it. So this week, the news was unfortunate, and Josh was gone. He's in Disneyland, and I'm watching Instagram. He's still there. Why is he in Disneyland? I waited until I see the picture of him taking Nora to her first day of first grade. First day of first grade, I see the picture of Nora go on Instagram. Okay, finally. I know Josh is doing nothing now. So I text him, hey man, I'm mad about stuff. Josh, come up here. So I have my fist just white knuckled on this handle. So I said, Josh, I can't let go. So he will help me carry it. Josh is a good friend, so he'll help me carry it. Okay, he will help me deal with my stuff, and he can't take it away. Like I said last week, he can't come in and say, you shouldn't have made that mistake then. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have made that mistake 10 years ago that brought this baggage in your hand. He can't say that. He can help me carry it, and over years, eventually, I'll let it go. Sorry. Excuse me. And then there's this one other bag. Let me take us back to Scripture. If you remember when we left off with Job, he lost everything, and his kids, and his respect in his community. He will never get his kids back. Okay. Sometimes tragedy befalls you that you can't get it back. There's no way he'll get his kids back. Okay, he's sitting in his own filth on a trash pile outside the city, and he says this. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. There's some baggage. Sorry, keeping that. There's some baggage that it will never go away. Okay? It will never go away. Or you don't see an end to it. There's some baggage that will always be there. Okay? Maybe it's loss, tragedy, a shortcoming, a disease. Some stuff won't go away. But Job, when he says, I repent in dust and ashes, he's lost all his possessions. He's lost all glory. All that he owns at that time is the dust and disease that he is sitting on, the refuse that he has been sitting on for over a week. That's all he has, and that's all he can offer to God. All he can offer is his brokenness.